You're listening to Stories to Create with your host, Cornell Bunting. Author, motivational speaker, and founder of ES Each Episode. Cornell sits down with inspiring voices to uncover the stories that shape who we are and who we're becoming. Get ready to listen, learn, and be inspired. The show starts now.
Yes. Welcome to another episode of Stories to Create podcast right here at ES Club. I am so excited today. Of course, you know, your favorite host, Cornell Bunting. And because of my guest that's on the show today, she has so many things going on. She is so energetic. She's doing so many things. She's not only a realtor, she's a super realtor estate. Like, this is just a beautiful thing. But she's in that real estate world. She has her own business. We're going to tap into a little bit of that. She's an entrepreneur. She is an influencer. She has a whole lot going on. And so without further ado, people, help me welcome Miss Cari Ann to the stage.
You're so sweet, Cornell. What an amazing human being. So impressive. I mean, I knew the moment I met Cornell when my love Steve and I were in Naples in January, and we immediately just hit it off. It was a great conversation. You're an incredible person.
Thank you.
And I'm just so drawn to energy. And you are the epitome of extraordinary awesomeness. So thank you for having me.
I like that. Oh, listen, it was with great pleasure to have you on the show. And so how we do our show with our listeners, you know, we treat our listeners, it's considered a treat to our listeners, you know, from your mind going back to the early years. So what we want you to do is take our listeners back to where was childhood? Where was you born?
So it was an interesting childhood. I was really lucky. I grew up in South Dakota in a small town, Mitchell.
Okay.
My father is originally from Merrick, Long Island, New York.
Okay.
And my grandfather was an engineer in New York. And my grandmother and grandfather retired to Maine when I was 2.
Okay.
Went through the war, went through the recession, went through all these things in life, right? Like lots of hardship. They shipped my dad off to this small Christian school in the middle of the Midwest. He was a problem child. And he met my mother, who's from Minnesota, and they built a life. And he loved South Dakota. He loved it. And it was an amazing childhood. It was a great place to grow up.
Wow.
I have one brother. He is awesome. He's, I would say, my energy on steroids. He's Hayes. His name's Hayes.
Okay.
A shout out to my brother. And we spent our years like the old school way of growing up. You know, we had a very organic, natural, you know, you walk out the door in the morning and your parents don't know where you're at until you come home at night, and you bike out to the pool and go hiking down by the river and hang out with our friends. And it was just clean, beautiful fun. A great way to grow up.
Wow.
We were really lucky. And I think he future casted that like parents do, right? They think about all these different ways you can live your life. And depending on where you're at in your life, you kind of say, all right, this is going to be the best way to spend this time and energy and the resources that I've got.
Right.
And I think that's what they did, keeping up a home and having that life for 20 years in South Dakota.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it was really a great place to be.
So you did primary, middle school in Dakota, in South Dakota.
Yeah, in South Dakota. And when I graduated at age 18, Fargo, North Dakota.
Fargo.
I went to school.
Okay.
Fargo, Moorhead, for those of you that don't know, is up in the Dakotas as well. North Dakota, Minnesota border. So I went to school, one of the only programs in the country that's called Tri-College. So you've got North Dakota State University, shout out to you all, Concordia, and Moorhead State University. So my parents were both teachers, and they had reciprocity in Minnesota, so that would help with tuition. So I actually graduated from Moorhead State University being able to take advantage of credit load where I wanted at Concordia or NDSU, which is a super cool thing.
Right.
Especially when you're trying to put yourself through school, as you all know, especially these days, it's so expensive.
Right. Wow.
Leaping back, my daughter is in her sophomore year, and I'm a single mom, and she isn't, she's, when you're non-homestead, it's expensive, as all parents know. So we've been setting up homestead down there for a year for her. So this will be her first year coming into her junior year that she will be going through homestead tuition, which brings down the tuition cost by 2/3. It's incredible.
Okay.
So for those of you trying to educate your young people, research that.
Yes.
I'm trying to keep her out of debt, and
that's good.
Paying tuition.
This is good. So South Dakota, for most of your teenage to the early adult years, and then what was the next move?
Yeah, what was really cool about that, Cornell, is with my parents were teachers, right? So there's a budget.
Right.
My grandparents were in Maine, so we were very, very lucky because we would drive in the station wagon with our German Shepherd in the back across the country every summer and spend the summer out in Maine. Great way to grow up.
Wow.
So now you spearhead to age 18 when you're launching and getting ready to go to school. 4 years later, in 91, I graduated from Moorhead State University and moved down to the Twin Cities, which is in Minnesota. Minneapolis. And the Carlson companies, it's a big organization up in the Midwest, and I was in hospitality at the time.
Okay.
And you and I connect in the fact that serving people is kind of in our bloodline, it's just in our core.
Yes.
And I started doing that at a very young age. I mean, I was waitressing and doing meeting planning and wedding coordination and design work. All of that stuff was part of my ecosystem starting at around age 16. And I kept on doing that. It put me through school. Graduated, ended up in hospitality with Radisson companies. So I was in the hotel business, which I don't think we even talked about this for almost 12 years.
Yeah. Wow.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
But, there was, as you know, the hospitality industry is relentless in the hours.
Yes.
And I call it future casting in my world. I use that word a lot in my work and have my whole life. What does this look like in 10 years?
Right.
In 20 years? What does my life look like?
Right.
And I was really mindful about if I'm going to work this hard, which I love working. I love giving back. I love the commitment and the grit that comes with work. I love it.
Yes.
However, I also wanted to be compensated for it. So I figured, well, if I'm going to do this, then maybe I need to take the skill set and figure out something else I can do with it.
Right.
So after 2 years out of college, I continued working part-time in hospitality, but got out of the organizational piece and started in sales. And I went down the sales journey, insurance, different kinds of service-oriented sales opportunities that came along. And I did that until 98 when I got my real estate license.
Wow. So before we get into the real estate world, because, I'm from considered a third world country, in the islands. And you think more civilized, as individuals would call countries like America, that you guys don't necessarily get to be outside as much playing. And you sound like you had all that growing up.
I did.
So what was it like going to school? Like the friends, did you have friends?
Yeah. I mean, I've always been a very social person. And that's where it's interesting as individuals where we really root ourselves because of our childhood, right? I come from a gardening family.
Right.
To date, in my new life with my love, Steve, we're doing the same thing. We're building organic gardens. We were just talking about that.
Right.
Nature, health, awareness of environment.
Right.
spending time outdoors has always been inbred in me.
Yeah.
Like it's just part of my DNA.
That's beautiful.
And I'm a Pisces, so I love the water.
Pisces.
Mm-hmm.
This is good. Okay.
Love the water, which is one of the reasons I love coming down here so much, because I just love that connectivity to the ocean.
That's awesome.
So that piece of my person, which everybody has something, right? The fabric, we call it, that weaves you and really helps you with your why on what you're doing with your life. And I would say my family absolutely was a huge piece of that and how I was brought up.
Right.
And I've tried to carry that through with every piece of the work that I've done somehow, some way, whether it's through my workflow or behind the scenes in a way that can be in contribution.
I like that.
Yeah.
So in school, did you get into sports or you were just strictly academic?
So I will say I didn't get the athletic gene that my father and brother have. However, I am a swimmer. And my father was a lifeguard out in New York. Coney Island Beach, for those of you that know Coney Island. He was a powerful and amazing lifeguard, and swimming for me was something in my DNA. Like at an age 1, I was a certified lifeguard by 14.
Wow.
And I had to wait 2 years before I could actually lifeguard. I was swimming by age 2. And so I was on the swim team. By far, I was not the best at all. And I'm an endurance swimmer. I have some great friends from my hometown that were amazing athletes that I follow and stay in touch with today. And I always admired them and their athleticism. I wasn't that person, but I tried. So, and my dad was a coach. He was a wrestling coach, football coach. And athletics were really important to him. So a track, swimming, were really my go-tos to date now at age 55. After all, I've been working out and training since I was really, in high school. And it's gone from boxing and running and really every kind of weight training possible to now I am Pilates.
Wow.
Core training now.
Okay.
But I definitely sports has always been a passion. I'm just not overly athletic. I belong in the water. I'd say there.
You belong in the water.
I won't hurt myself there.
No. This is good. So you started your family when you moved to Minnesota.
I did, and I waited a long time to start my family. I had a hard time. I got married at a young age, and I'm divorced now.
Right. How young were you?
I was 23 when I met my partner at the time, and I was married at 25. And divorced at 45.
Okay, so you had a nice little run in there,
and that's a whole other story.
Yes, that is definitely a whole other story.
But I had a daughter, and amazing daughter. My daughter Emily is now 20 years old, and she is my one and only. And it's been a journey. Like we've been through a lot together, and I adore her and love her dearly. Like she's my front line. Like I'm quarterbacking like we all do with our children every single day. And I think raising kids now, especially young people, it's an interesting time in the world. And what we were growing up and how we launched into the world looked entirely different than it looks now.
This is true.
We are parenting for a very long time. They're in our ecosystem where even 20, if you look at 20 to 30 years in growth of our world, we launched in a very different way. Like we were very independent very early on. And our children, whether we can blame this or it can be a cause for a myriad of reasons. But in fact, the world is much more complex now and scary for young people and confusing. There's all of that.
This is true.
And you just do the best you can do, right? Cornell, that's what you and I immediately when we met, it's like you do the best you can do. And if you get up in the morning and you are truly committed to whatever that is, then you can go to sleep at night with a calm mind and like, I did the best I could do today based on what's in front of me.
And I love the way your mindset is. And would you say you had that solid of a mindset from college or after you left college? Or after motherhood?
I would say that those that know me and know my parents, I was very lucky. I have two amazing parents.
Beautiful.
And I lost my father at a young age. He had Parkinson's.
Oh.
He was diagnosed when I was 18 years old, and it was a major loss for my brother and I. He was an amazing man and well-respected, very, very entrepreneurial.
Right.
He was a philanthropic soul. My dad and his siblings are all very smart people. They're really kind people, and they're very introspective and very smart. Like there's an intelligence there. You know when you meet people right?
Yeah.
Just there's this deep-seated awareness and intelligence. Yes. Not all people have that.
Right.
And that pairing with I have a little darling, amazing mom who I'm so grateful to still have in my life. She's turning 80 this year. In fact, I'm with her at the end of the month. It's her 80th birthday. Happy birthday, Mom.
Yeah, Mom.
Yeah. And she's a powerful she's 5 foot tall and just a little powerhouse. So the blend of their person, both of them independently, really is why I am the way I am today. And I've been rooted in my feelings. As I've matured, obviously, I've been able to articulate better.
Yeah.
Some will say in all those personality tests that you take out there, my combination of my sun sign and just my brain, I'm like a small percentile of the human population. I can be complex and overwhelming for people. So I have to be aware of that.
Yeah, okay.
Especially as because I love what I do, passionate about my work, and I'm really good at it. Coaching and training it, I'm learning how to do that. That's a work in progress. Right. Being really great at something and trying to teach other people how to do that work is really an interesting place for me. That's an interesting space for me to be in right now. And that's the place I'm in now. Yeah. And I've journeyed there through my story, all of us have. Right?
That is beautiful. You got into the sales world for a little bit. Would you think about, your unique mindset that allow you to stay in it for the time that you did?
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Every young person carries a story of hope, of struggle, of dreams waiting to rise. But in too many undeserved communities, those stories go unheard.
At ease, Inc. Everyone has a story. We believe every voice deserves a chance. Through mentorship, empowering programs, and storytelling workshops, we help you discover their purpose, strengthen their mindset, and build a future they can be proud of.
From classrooms in Jamaica to communities across Southwest Florida,
ES is changing lives,
one story at a time.
But we can't do it alone. Join us, become a mentor, volunteer, donate, help us fuel the next generation of leaders, creators, and change makers.
Visit ahas.org today, because when you help a young person share their story, you help them change their world.
I think fundamentally, anybody who really is passionate about whatever, first you surround yourself with what is it that you want.
Yeah.
If you are in the business of sales, which I think all of us in some way, shape, and form are, right? All of us have that piece in us. So you lead with passion, and you lead with the why behind whatever it is you're a part of.
Right.
And if you really love it and you have that drive, it's the ability to delve into the grittiness and the commitment and dedication and consistency. And I think that's where a lot of people go off the rails, I call it, because it's hard for them to be consistent.
Yeah.
And it's hard for them to stay on the rails.
Right.
And there's for whatever the reason, I don't know the why. I have blinders on.
Yes.
And I lead that way. Like once I'm all in, I'm all in.
Right.
And that means partnering or meeting friends, clients, this.
Yeah.
It's like Cornell and I only had a few hours together.
Right.
But we stayed in touch.
Yes,
And I have a huge respect for Cornell's.
Yes.
That's just like what you're doing is incredibly powerful impactful and amazing.
Thank you.
And being a part of a story or learning from
Yes.
a Cornell of the world
there you
is the why behind those that the difference between success or people that are just this is what I say, Cornell, to my team. You can choose to be ordinary or you can choose to be extraordinary.
Extraordinary. Yeah.
And I lead with extraordinary every day. That's where I live and breathe. And coaching that way resonates.
Yes.
Especially with our young people.
So you're in a market, you're in a field that a lot of individuals now are identifying as something that is just huge. I don't know if some would say a melting pot, but the real estate world is huge.
It is huge. It is a very powerful thing. And when you live and breathe it, especially with all that's going on right now in real estate and all the question marks around the work.
Right.
So for me individually, I take and the client work that I've done for 25 years, I have enough storytelling, I call it. There's so much meaning and so much benefit from understanding the stories of the lives that you benefit and help in this work.
Right.
There's a few little fun facts.
Yes.
Everybody decided to jump into this rat race, I'll call it, of real estate. I don't call it that, but many do.
Right.
And during COVID, like during the shift of what happened with the economy, a lot, the workforce, I'll call it, within the real estate community is massive. So many players. And a lot of that influx disrupt, I'll call it, the quality and the knowledge really, shall I say, neutralize. Like there's a lack of consistency where it used to exist 20, 30 years ago in this business, where you just really worked with this upper echelon of professionals. 80% of the country's real estate professionals have average 1 to 4 transactions a year.
Wow.
They've been in the business for less than 5 years. There's no age to that. That's just the reality of the ecosystem.
Right.
Depending on where you are in the country and the depth and breadth of the brand. I happen to be in a region where we're one of the oldest living large brokers, independents that are now owned by Home Services of America, Dinah Realty. Amazing company. I've been with them from the very beginning. It's 25 years this year.
25 years. Wow.
And 60%, I believe, of the company has been selling for over 20 years. There's something to that, right?
Yes. Oh, definitely.
It's like hiring a great attorney or hiring a surgeon. You know, the years and the experience are relevant and life impacting. And I often say, you know, we're helping people make decisions that are their home for 10, 20 years plus. A lot of my clients have been in their home for over 30 years, and I'm helping them through life transition, I call it. It's a complex dialogue.
It is.
But fundamentally, there are 3 things. Experience in understanding the dialogue, the negotiation skill set, and the why behind, whether it be investing or life change, is a big conversation, a really important one, and having the skill set to be able to articulate and help people through those life changes is like, that's a skill set. And not everybody has the skill set. So what happens is, I always say everything comes full circle in the world for all things. And that includes real estate, which is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And the work speaks for itself. So when I step into a family story or an investment story or, we're moving into the Florida market right now. One of the reasons we're moving down here, we talked about this, Cornell, is because we live in Minnesota.
Yeah.
The Midwest is cold.
You stay cold up there.
Yeah, and a lot of our clients, we're not coming down to take over Naples. We
Right.
have a lot of clients. My sales director, Kevin Coulter, and myself have been dipping back and forth into Florida for over 30 years. We know the area. Southwest Florida is a lot. Minnesota.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of Minnesotans down here, and a lot of my database, because I've been selling for 25 years and I'm at my age, a lot of them want to be here.
Right.
So servicing them was important to me
Right.
as a brand and as a company with Edina Realty because of the age of the organization and the
Right.
breadth and depth of the client pool. Why wouldn't we want to service them and help them through these portfolio changes, I call it, because
Right.
it is money movement,
Right.
right? I mean, at the end of the day, for most people, their home and their real estate investments are a huge piece of their financial portfolio.
You saying that, I want to ask you, have you ever had a family that wanted a specific home, but they couldn't really meet the criteria to get that home?
Oh, yeah.
What was that like? How you had to walk through that? And did you have to break their heart?
You know what? I don't look at it that way.
Mhm.
I have an incredible lending partner that I try to utilize the most I can. His name's Chad Johnson, and he's been as well 25-year plus veteran in the business. And we call it, how do we advise and prepare anyone for
Right.
home ownership?
Right.
So if it's not, so we sit down and figure out, okay, if not now, then when?
Yes.
So there's never a no, there's a
Right.
how.
How? Yeah.
I am what they call a solution-based thinker.
Yeah.
There's never a no. If you really want something, we'll figure out how to make that happen
Wow.
based on your story,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And if that story needs some adjusting,
Yes.
at least we know based on how we dialogue to prepare for the wish, for the want, to make it a reality. How do we get there?
Wow.
So if you're here,
Yeah.
how do we get there? And if you're not ready now, when?
Right.
So there's no on the back end of that.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
So yes, we have I have a team, and we are not about a socioeconomic profile at all.
Okay.
We serve everybody. My methodology is life transition. Wherever you set in life, the skill set is about taking your story and getting you to where you want to go. And many of the clients we work with for years, we're about helping them for
Right.
years through life transition. You
Right.
starter home, and then you get married and you have children, and then now you're empty nesting, or unfortunately divorce, or a loss in the family. Like, it's life,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And when you're helping people through these life changes, in part, it's also financial planning, right?
Yes. Yes.
So I always say to anyone, we put a team around you. What does that team look like? And it's never the same team.
Right. Right.
Yep, it's never the same team.
Wow. That is amazing. Right there.
Mhm.
I like that.
There you go.
It's and here, because there, I saw a post the other day from a friend who's now a realtor, and he said, "I don't understand. Why is everyone a realtor?"
Well, so there are a lot of realtors out there. It's quantifying what is this work is hard work.
Right.
It's 7 days a week. When I say 24/7, that's no lie. I mean,
Yes.
I average a 15-hour day.
Wow.
Especially with the growth model we're dealing with and the people we're supporting and helping and coaching a team.
Right.
It does take an enormous amount of commitment, a lot of grit, a lot of dedication, and you need to have a listening skill set that's very honed into each individual. There's no rinse and repeat.
Right.
Like, you're never done learning.
Right.
You're constantly put into new situations,
I like.
and you have to think on your feet.
Right.
And you're either able to do that or you're not.
Right.
So when one gets into the business, they're going to know really quickly,
Yes.
because it needs to be something that is going to allow them to flourish
Yes.
as a profession.
Right.
And so I do think that kind of solves
Okay.
for the world.
For a lot.
For a lot.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
everything, right?
Yes, this is true.
So, yeah.
And we're going to step out of the real estate world for a little bit and step into your personal, like gardening. You're doing some
Yeah.
gardening and stuff with your partner. What does that look like? Because you turn that into a business as well.
So what I would say, both Steve and I came off of divorces, and we were both married 20 plus years. When we met each other, I had waited 3 years before I started dating after my divorce.
Okay.
And I was very clear in what I wanted.
Right.
And what I was looking for. And
Yeah.
I always say, if you put it out there and put it out to the universe, it'll come back to you in spades, that clarity,
Yes.
that thing that you're
Right.
looking for.
Yes.
And Steve was that person.
Yeah.
So when we met and we dated, well, I won't even call it dating. When we coupled and we knew it was a long game right away.
Yeah.
We never got married. When you're
Right.
in your 50s, the whole why behind that, it's different.
Yeah.
We've got kids we're raising and we've got a homestead. So
Right.
we decided to sell our city homes because both of us, for different reasons, had always liked the idea of having land.
Right.
And we love gardening. We love the idea of creating an organic environment. We're both huge believers in clean food and growing, regardless of how much space or land you have. Anyone can have a beautiful organic garden, right?
Yes.
So we are looking at a teaching around organic growing, sustainability, conservation,
Okay.
land, water. All those things are really important to us. It's a passion project.
Yes.
So that is my sidekick.
I like that.
It's a busy one, and we love it. We absolutely love it. We love everything about it, and I do think that it is important to the soul. For us personally, it fills our soul and gives us great pleasure to be able to teach to the people that want to learn, and for our family, and just for good health.
So, you're in a beautiful field, and I think, a lot of people are grateful for that. And, if you was to touch on just a little bit of the challenges that individuals face right now, because, they're saying the fast food joints are like growing at such a high pace right now, and the food they serve is not good for the body.
I agree.
But no one really teaches individual like what this do to your body, what that does to your body. Why you think we never necessarily? You think it's because of the money?
Oh yeah, I always think that. I mean, good, bad, and ugly. When you're dealing with, we'll talk about the food supply right now, and you look at the end, these buckets of huge wealth that exist out there.
Right.
The food industry is absolutely one of those.
Right.
So to me, it's a choice. And there's a way, regardless of the socioeconomic placement, right, to be mindful about what you feed your body. Because if you don't have that, what do you have if you don't have your health, right? And there's a lot of ways to do that in a more simplistic form for the cost spend. When you go to a grocery store and you look at the increased costs of what's happening right now with inflation, that's a real dialogue, a real thing happening. So it's figuring out, with this much money, how can I feed my body in the healthiest way possible? That's where I would lead. And there are ways to do that. There are powerful fats and powerful proteins, nuts, seeds, legumes, avocado, just to give you an example. Fruits, vegetables, mindful of good proteins in your body. And I think that there's not enough coaching out there about, good food. You can be on a budget, and how you spend that budget can quantify health by choice. And there's a way to seek out those foods on that budget, in my opinion, and just looking and studying it and going online, go to Amazon, Hub Food, whatever your grocery choice is based on where you're at in the world here. I think that it's leading with the awareness of, how do I want to fuel my body so I stay healthy, and studying with that. So very quickly, so DIY Designer Homestead is our personal passion project. Steve picks up organic broccoli seeds.
Okay.
We grow them at home. So for 50 cents for a quarter a cup, we actually have a little tutorial on this on Facebook or on YouTube. I believe it's on YouTube. And we can send it to you, so you've got it.
Okay.
But for that little packet of broccoli seeds, you can in 5 to 6 days grow sprouts, powerful protein, super healthy, mineral rich. Anyone can afford a mason jar with the lid and the seeds and grow broccoli seeds every week.
Wow.
And it's a superfood for the body.
Yes.
Superfood for the body. And it's considered, Steve is better at articulating this than I, but it does have some core value, health value that helps with cancer as well.
Okay.
It's a cancer fighter.
Yeah.
Just a little side note, broccoli sprouts. Yeah. But you can grow them. You don't have to buy them. You know, you don't have to go to Whole Foods and spend $10 on a little container of broccoli sprouts. You can grow those as an example in your home year round, regardless of the climate you're in.
Wow.
As an example. Does that answer your question?
Oh, listen, that was beautiful. That was we're learning a lot today. As you guys can see, we're learning a lot, and we're really appreciative of that. So with the balance, now comes the balance, because you know you have a lot of listeners. They definitely have that question, like, okay, how do you balance the work, all the work that's going on? Now your daughter is in college, and then your me time.
Yeah, you know, one of my partners with the company, I have a podcast too, not nearly like yours. Fly the Coop, it's called.
Fly the Coop. Ooh,
yeah, it made sense.
Yes.
We have chickens and fly the coop. Just, you know, when you're going through life transition, you fly the coop. Yes. Our children fly the coop, our parents, everybody. Anyway, to answer your question, Nick said it the best. I really don't have, I fight for balance every day.
Yeah.
It's a choice.
Yes.
It's a personal choice I'm making. And time is, shall I say, priorities are fluid.
Right.
So a training moment for the team, your day is constantly being reprioritized by the hour sometimes based on emergencies and things going on. There's always those top 3 things, I say top 3 nuggets of the day that have to be checked.
Yes.
And the to-do list never ends. It's chronically continuing.
Yes.
And at the end, you're carving out these moments, even if it's an hour. To me, that's like a luxury, right?
Yeah.
I have an hour that I had to rearrange, so I'm going to go for a walk.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to go take 2 hours this evening and play backgammon with Steven, have dinner, because he's a great chef and he makes dinner every night. You know, you categorically define the 24 hours you have. Right. I will say I probably could use a little bit more sleep than I get. Yeah. And then there's moments I crash and I have to take a day and rejuvenate. And you just got to read your body and know that.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, when you are like us and you're taking on, like, life is short is how I look at it. Right. And my dad used to always say, I'll sleep when I'm dead.
Yeah. Wow.
While making sure that I'm being healthy, right? As healthy as possible.
Yes.
So each day, work, the team, home, family, sustainability, our gardens, raising children, making decisions, problem solving. It's like fluid like water.
Wow. That's awesome.
And that's how I've pretty much led my whole life.
Wow.
Chewed my Pisces.
What type of music was you into growing up?
You know, my mother was a choral. Well, she is still passionate, but she's retired now. But she was a choral artist and musician and taught. So I had a lot of choral art. She also, choral music was a big part. Jazz, great jazz. Barbra Streisand was a big player of the day. I wish I had a better memory. I'm very bad at remembering artists. Steve is really good at that. My mother's great at it. Yeah. There's very little I don't love to listen to. Right. I do favor, you know, I love the 80s. Right. Always have, because I'm an 80s kid. Yes. I love jazz music. We have a great jazz club called Dakota, and artists come in from all over the world. Right. And I love listening to great jazz music. I love, you know, really thinking through anything European, Italy. I love the sounds.
Mm-hmm.
So I love pulling up, like I'll say, pull music from Italy, from the vineyards. I love the sound of it. It's very soothing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Pilates person, so I do love spa, calming music.
Right.
And you go through those trends. Like I remember when I was boxing for 3 years, you go into that hard, gritty music because it's, pumps you up.
Right.
So I think music for everybody is fueling energy.
Yes. Definitely.
And so I would say, depending on what I'm needing to fuel, like what I'm needing to feed into, whether it's high energy or calm, will lend itself to what music I pick.
Mm-hmm. Barbra Streisand, Cher. Who you choose?
I would say Barbara.
Okay.
I think she's a brilliant artist.
Okay.
I love Cher, but Barbara, to me, really resonates as a incredible musician. And watching, they just on some of those old Hollywood Facebook pages you'll see, I just saw the most awesome image of all of them together. Bette Midler, Cher, Barbra Streisand, all of them, and they all are incredible.
Yes.
But I will say my mother loved Barbara, and we listened to it a lot, so that's probably why I lean into that.
Okay. I like that. I like that. As far as food go, if you was to take one of these meat away, beef, chicken, fish, which one would you take away?
I'd probably say beef because I love fish.
Okay.
And I love chicken.
Okay.
I don't need to have beef. I enjoy it, but I don't need to have it.
Okay.
I would say Steve, my partner, would absolutely say he has to keep the beef. He loves the steak. He loves, we do a lot of grilling and food prep at home. So, but I would say I'd keep the chicken and the fish. And if I had to eliminate again, I'd have to keep the fish. I just love fish.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
That breakdown. Right. That's beautiful. There's not a lot of people remove the chicken, so that was good. That was good right there. In the time we're in right now, with and I want to do my listeners justice with the injustice on the social level, or. And I know this can be a little tricky.
I understand. I come from a situation in Minnesota that many understand with the George Floyd unfortunate story, and dealing with just what's been clearly a pattern for our entire history of pattern and what it's such a big loaded question, right?
Yes.
And issue.
But, for a lot of people would say they don't think we'll ever come to a solution. And some people say we think we're getting there.
Yeah.
Do you think, because we're in this shift right now, do you think more people is aware of what that should look like?
I think that it's an interesting conversation depending on where you are in the world and where you are in our country.
Okay.
So my mother moved to Maryland, to Baltimore, which is an incredible city.
Right.
It's going through a major tragedy right now at the bridge loss. We've spent a lot of time on the East Coast and in Maryland, in Baltimore. And I dialogue that because what goes on in the stories around the people I meet and the historical components that exist, as an example, in the South versus the Midwest.
Right.
Like I grew up in South Dakota and Minnesota, and what our experience is very different than the south of the country. That's a fact.
Right.
And I grew up with an environment that was very accepting, and loving, and equal, and treated everybody with kindness.
Right.
And I believe fundamentally, my mom and I were just having this conversation last week. I believe fundamentally most of us are like that.
Right.
I think that the world and media focus, they can get a story out of hype. They can get a
Right.
story out of negativity.
Mhm.
And I think that it's unfortunate, but our news and our social do tend to lean into negativity
Right.
when there are so many amazing, incredible, kind human beings out there
Right.
that want equality and good for everyone.
Right.
And it's a struggle.
Right.
It's an ongoing conversation and dialogue. I don't think anybody, not the most brilliant person, has a perfect scenario because the world's a big place and there's a lot of people in it.
Right.
And God knows everyone has an opinion.
Right. Yes, this is true. This
Right?
is very true.
And
yeah.
so then you go back to navigating the why and the how, and where is the clarity in for those that receive hardship or are going through something difficult in their life. What is the solution in that moment in time?
Right.
And that is literally several podcasts of dialogue.
Right.
I wish I had an answer for that.
Yeah,
What I
that's-
lead with every
Yes.
day, Cornell, is
Yes.
that I believe that most people want fundamentally people to be healthy, good, kind
Yes.
to each other,
Yes.
lead with, compassion and empathy. And if we can focus our energy in that way as a community and as a world, we'd be so much further along.
Right.
It's standing up and speaking in those words with that clarity, and hopefully we'll be empowered with a better outcome sooner than later. That would be my hope.
I like that. I like that. For
Probably not a
individuals
very
that
good answer.
no, it was good. It was good. I like that because you left it where individuals need to make choices that's gonna allow better outcomes.
And really leading with the truth.
Yes, yes.
The truth.
That's it right there. Leading with the truth. That's
Lead
good.
with the truth,
Yes.
and not with there's a lot of newsworthy, we'll call it, reporting going on out there. What is the core truth of the story?
Right, right.
With that, you have clarity, and
Yes.
then comes peace. That's how I think every day.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to plug my listeners into where they can find you and all that stuff. What does that look like?
Okay, so I run a real estate team up in Minnesota called Cari Ann Group. I actually do work nationally and internationally with my relocation work. We just opened an office in Naples, Florida. That's how I met Cornell, to service anyone who wants our support based on our philosophy of the work we do.
Right.
Separately, Steve and I started DIY Designer Homestead. DIY Designer Homestead is really a philosophy around clean, healthy, organic living. And we're slowly building that out. And it's going to be very much leaning into how to be sustainable and live a healthy life. Really,
Beautiful.
is really what it boils down to. It's not complicated.
Yeah, I love that. I
have two organizations, two groups, DIY and Cari Ann Group.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. I love it.
Yeah.
So
I'm so grateful to be able to hang out with you.
Oh
Cornell.
my goodness.
Thank you.
This was so
Yeah.
cool just to listen to you and listen to your upbringing and all that. It's beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
I'm excited. And I kind of figured you possibly had a background like that. So I'm glad you were able to
Yeah,
dive
I
into
love
that a little
sharing.
bit. Yeah.
I have nothing if people ask, I'll tell them the story. I always say, I just talked to a team member this morning. Everyone has a story.
Ooh, my team is going to be excited to hear you
Yeah.
say that because, of course, we're getting some buzz right now. So that's a beautiful thing. And everyone do have a story. And with that, I want to say, guys, you guys are welcome. It was beautiful just to create another story right here at EAS Club. So until next week when we have another interesting guest that have another beautiful, unique story that's decorative as our lovely Cari Ann Carter over here, I want to thank you guys for tuning in and thank you, love.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
So appreciate it,
Yes.
Cornell. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes. Awesome.
How did we do?
Thanks for tuning in and downloading this episode of Stories to Create. We appreciate you being part of this growing community of storytellers and listeners. If today's conversation inspired you, please share the show with friends, family, or anyone who could use a little motivation in their journey. A special thank you to our sponsors, EHAS Organization, Cornell Bunting LLC, and Nostril Cheese Chase, for supporting the mission and making this podcast possible. To learn more about our work, upcoming projects, and how you can get involved, be sure to visit www.hissinkorg and www.cornellbunting.com. Until next time, keep creating, keep growing, and remember, your story has power.